So in 2023, we saw cloud spend reach well over $600 billion. That was up 20% year over year. We expect this number to hit nearly $1 trillion globally in 2024. And I think we're well on track to do that. So while we're seeing budgets shrink across the board, that one budget that we continue to see increase is our customers' cloud spend. So the question is, how do we combine this pressure to innovate and how do we take this macroeconomic pressure and leverage this cloud spend to be more efficient? The answer, no surprise, is cloud marketplaces. We see more cloud investment, but not only see more cloud investment, we're seeing our customers look for ways to get more efficient with that cloud budget, to leverage that spend into other areas of the business. And so we're seeing a unification of procurement line of business and that the traditional IT buyer role, and really a centralization of activity into commercial marketplaces. It's a lot more than hype and promise. The reality is we're seeing the momentum, and we have been seeing this momentum for quite some time. So we're seeing 140% growth in that digital direct, that self-service motion. But we're seeing an even greater increase year over year in the growth of IP co-sell deals on marketplace. Quite often, when you see this rapid growth in a segment or in a business, you see it isolated into one or two key areas. What I find really interesting is we look at the success of marketplace and the growth of marketplace. It's not just happening in one segment of customers. It's happening across the board. So whether it's financial services, healthcare, manufacturing, retail, we're seeing significant growth of marketplace business from these customers.
Learn how to master cloud marketplaces in just 5 weeks with our cohort course. Accelerate your growth by tapping into the $300+ billion cloud spend that enterprises have committed to AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. Discover the future of go-to-market with Roman. During 10 weekly sessions, you'll learn how to leverage this fast-growing channel and network with top industry experts and partnership leaders. We will dive into marketplace strategies, internal buy-in, building relationships with the cloud, and mastering co-sell. Join our upcoming cohort.
I'm really excited because we've been talking with Jeff Cornwell for some time about bringing him into our course, and he's an incredible speaker, amazing experience. He's been in Microsoft for 15 years. He's been director of marketplace product management, cloud, and AI. And before that, he was head of networking and security business in commercial marketplace. You can guess that is probably the biggest portion of marketplace. Today, we're going to be talking about macro marketplace, where Microsoft focused the attention, MBO program, and everything else.
My name is Jeff Cornwell. Obviously, I'm at Microsoft. I've been at Microsoft for almost 16 years, which is hard for me to even fathom. But for the last 5 or 6 years, I've been focused solely on our marketplace experience for our commercial customers. So I sit within our marketplace organization, and until about 4 or 5 months ago, for the previous 3.5 years, I ran our networking and security businesses for the commercial marketplace on a global level. And what that means is really two things. First, I was responsible for the overall business growth of networking and security solutions from ISVs in the marketplace. And at the same time, I was responsible for product strategy. And the reason that's important is every different category of the marketplace business has unique needs. And so my goal was to ensure that from a product strategy perspective, we were building the right functionality that helped our partners, our sellers, sell how they wanted to sell, and then ultimately helped our customers buy how they wanted to buy. So that was my focus for the previous 3.5 years. Again, I've been in the marketplace business since it was a baby, before this was something cool and new and relevant and huge. So it's been a really exciting journey to see this business grow by 10, 15x over the past couple of years. I thought what I'd do today is back up just a little bit and talk about that high level story of kind of why marketplace and why now. And then we can dig a little bit into the channel opportunity as well. I want to just talk about how we see the marketplace and how largely the market sees the marketplace in terms of the market forces that are driving this movement toward a different way of buying. We'll then kind of talk about how this is translating into new buying behavior, the roles that are buying, and then the people in those roles who are buying, because that has fundamentally changed over the last couple of years, and it's driving a lot of new activity that we haven't contemplated before. And then I'll share some stats around overall marketplace momentum from the Microsoft side. Again, this is all going to come from the Microsoft side, but again, I think you can translate this to the other cloud hyperscalers as well. So there's a couple market forces that we see as really driving this move to cloud marketplaces, and I'll give you the answers of the test ahead of time. The first one is AI, and the second one is kind of the macroeconomic headwinds that we're all facing on a global basis. So let's talk about AI for just a second. So yeah, if you're playing a drinking game, right? AI, the term AI gets a little silly pretty quickly, right? Everyone talks about AI, but the reality is AI is in everything we're doing, and it's a top of mind for every executive, for every technology leader, for every company leader on a global basis. And it's causing some interesting things. And I think the biggest thing that it's doing is creating an incredible amount of pressure for companies, our partners, and our customers to innovate more quickly and remain relevant and increasingly differentiate themselves from the competition. And so I find it interesting that well over 2/3 of organizations globally today are using AI, right? This isn't just a concept, this is a reality. I would expect that number to tickle closer to 100% here in the not too distant future, right? If you're not using AI for various aspects of your business, you're getting further behind. But an interesting thing this has done, this pressure to accelerate innovation has really forced kind of an accelerated build by partner discussion from companies, right? Do I build out the technology and differentiated experiences? Do I buy that technology, or do I partner with others to build out my technology stack? And increasingly, as you see on the bottom, almost 60%, we're seeing almost a 60% increase in SaaS spending on an annualized basis. This means our customers and our partners are not only building their own technology, but increasingly buying SaaS-based solutions from other companies to integrate with their solution to further extend their innovation. So AI just continues to put pressure across the board. This surge of innovation and this acceleration is fantastic. It opens up new doors, but it's creating some challenges that we haven't seen in the spotlight, or at least too broadly in the spotlight up until now. So we saw quite a bit of mass cloud migration during the pandemic as folks worked from home and it was a more remote worker environment, right? That throttled up the need to move to cloud in an accelerated way. But we've moved a bit from mass cloud migration now to mass cloud optimization. How are our customers and partners leveraging the cloud and optimizing their cloud footprint to be as effective as possible? We're also seeing a different persona come into the play, which is the digital natives are entering these decision-making roles, whether it's the line of business decision maker, the IT buyer, or the procurement lead. We're starting to see younger and younger individuals, digital natives, millennials, et cetera, sit in those chairs and look for different experiences when they buy enterprise software. And then finally, again, AI is just redefining how everyone does business. It kind of took all the Legos, split them apart, and threw them on the floor. And everyone's trying to figure out how we put them back together most efficiently. So again, this innovation pressure is creating a lot of new opportunities out there. The other pressure, in addition to AI, the other market force that I'd say is really prominent is not a mystery, but it's the macroeconomic headwinds. You know, we're all in a bit of a doing more with less economy, right? Budgets are smaller, headcounts are smaller, timelines are shorter. So how do we get more out of the resources that we have? So it's difficult when you look across your business and try to not only maintain the innovation rate, but accelerate your innovation rate with fewer resources. So as we look left to right across all of these budget pressures and economic pressures, you know, the one thing that has remained durable is our customers' cloud budget. So the one thing that remains pretty durable across these macroeconomic headwinds is the reality that cloud spend continues to grow. So in 2023, we saw cloud spend reach well over $600 billion. That was up 20% year over year. We expect this number to hit nearly $1 trillion globally in 2024. And I think we're well on track to do that. So while we're seeing budgets shrink across the board, that one budget that we continue to see increase is our customers' cloud spend. So the question is, how do we combine this pressure to innovate and how do we take this macroeconomic pressure and leverage this cloud spend to be more efficient? Now, the answer, no surprise, is cloud marketplaces. When we think about the buying behavior, all of these things that are happening at the same time have created new opportunities. So we see more cloud investment, but not only do we see more cloud investment, we're seeing our customers look for ways to get more efficient with that cloud budget, to leverage that spend into other areas of the business. And so we're seeing a unification of procurement, line of business, and that the traditional IT buyer role, and really a centralization of activity into commercial marketplaces. But what's really interesting here is we're seeing this confluence of buying activity across these personas. And where everyone is seeing the value, where everyone's extracting the most opportunity is through commercial marketplaces and cloud marketplaces. Demand is significant, and the centralization of tech investments in cloud marketplaces is real. Depending on who you talk to, you see estimates of a TAM anywhere from 40 billion to 80 billion by 2025. So I put it smack dab in the middle. My guess is around 60. And we see well over 50% 5-year CAGR, right? There's not a lot of businesses that have this level of 5-year CAGR. But what's really interesting here, and we'll talk about this toward the end, is that a third of this investment, this business, is increasingly involving channel partners. The marketplace plays a really key role in bringing the customer and the partner together. I think regardless of what cloud marketplace or hyperscaler marketplace you talk about, the marketplace helps partners reach more customers on a global basis, simplify that sales process, and unlock growth through co-sell activity, through incentives, and through benefits and things along those lines. And from a customer's perspective, the marketplace really brings that value in terms of increasing efficiency. How can I leverage my cloud spend in a way that makes me spend more efficiently? How can I get stronger discounts, et cetera? It helps our customers buy more confidently. When you're buying a solution from a hyperscaler cloud marketplace, this solution's vetted, is technically secure, and it's validated. And then finally, it helps our customers spend smarter, not only from leveraging those cloud marketplace, leveraging cloud spends, things like MAC decrement, but also managing your cloud estate in a much more efficient manner. So cloud marketplaces bring all this together. And so when we think about all this hype and this promise, right, it's a lot more than hype and promise. The reality is we're seeing the momentum, and we have been seeing this momentum for quite some time. And we're seeing it in 2 key areas. And that first number, 140%, that's the annualized growth rate in digital marketplace sales. So in a marketplace environment, to overly simplify things, we have 2 primary motions. We have that self-service direct sales model where I, Jeff, want a solution. I go to a marketplace, I find it, I buy it, and I deploy it or get it up and running. I didn't need anyone else to help me with that process. I bought public pricing and I proceeded based on my own discovery. So we're seeing 140% growth in that digital direct, that self-service motion. But we're seeing an even greater increase year over year in the growth of IP co-sell deals on marketplace. That's seller-led, seller-collaborated deals where Microsoft sellers are working with partner sellers on behalf of a customer to drive a deal through marketplace. So we see that come through the lens of private offers or private plans, which is the kind of custom deal-making construct that we have in our marketplace. So again, the momentum in marketplace isn't just coming, it's here. What I find very interesting is quite often when you see this rapid growth in a segment or in a business, you see it isolated into 1 or 2 key areas. What I find really interesting is when we look at the success of marketplace and the growth of marketplace, it's not just happening in one segment of customers, it's happening across the board. So whether it's financial services, healthcare, manufacturing, retail, we're seeing significant growth of marketplace business from these customers. The number here that really stands out on this slide to me is financial services, right? One of the knocks on marketplace you'll hear a lot is well, in a highly regulated environment, there's a lot of challenges in purchasing in a new vehicle is a little bit tricky. So, what I find very validating is the fact that financial services companies and customers, likely the most highly regulated customers that we all interface with, are seeing likely the largest segment or vertical growth in the marketplace. We talk a lot about the influence and scale of Azure, right? Today, more than 95% of the Fortune 500 uses Azure at some level, whether they're standardized on Azure or they use Azure as part of a multi-cloud strategy. The key stat that I'll call out, we can't use the number 100%, but the vast majority, think 99%, use the marketplace to manage their cloud portfolio. So the interesting takeaway here is it's not just customers using Azure, but it's the vast majority of our enterprise customers are going to the marketplace in the Azure portal every single day to manage their cloud portfolio, to find new solutions, and to buy and deploy new solutions. So if you want to be where our enterprise customers and increasingly our other customers are, the marketplace is where they're going. That's how you most effectively get in front of them. This is interesting. So from a customer's perspective, Microsoft commissioned Forrester to perform what they call a total economic impact study of the Microsoft commercial marketplace. But what I find fascinating here is the numbers on the return on investment, almost a 600% ROI from a customer perspective, with the payback periods of less than 6 months using the marketplace, right? And it really speaks to the value proposition from the customer perspective that we saw in that kind of infinity slide a little bit ago. Marketplaces reduce employee time for onboarding new vendors by as much as 75%. employee effort and work is reduced by 50%. And increasingly, we see these customers experiencing this optimized Azure cloud budget and recapturing almost half of at-risk spend. So a lot of really positive data points to help understand the value customers are seeing from Marketplace, not just a slide or a presentation from Microsoft, rather a study from